Welcome to the F Word and Friends, where we talk about financial concepts and we also kind of have a debate around it, whether we agree or not. Francho, what do you have for us today? What's the topic that we can discuss?
Today I'm going to challenge you guys a little bit on when is enough actually enough. Because sometimes money's got a way of consuming us. People think, okay, if you stop when you get out of the rat race, all of a sudden you're not motivated enough, stuff like that. So I'm quickly going to tell you guys two stories. One you will definitely know, Bernie Madoff. Okay, you guys know him? Brilliant. How much do you guys think he made out of his legitimate company per year?
Yeah,
How many million?
No, it was a lot. It was like
Yeah, it was still a lot.
500 million.
Yeah.
Per year, okay.
Yeah.
No,
Per
Wait,
year,
wait.
no, per year, maybe
Per
a
year.
little bit less, but
5 million.
no, but more.
I would
Okay,
say a
you,
little
you don't know
I'd say
anything
more.
about business.
I would say a lot more.
I thought he's still
200, 300 million now.
So 25 to 50 million dollars he made legitimately each year out of his business. And then obviously something happened. He had friends that were living the lifestyle, or he wanted to show something to other people. And then he went the wrong way with us. Ended up in jail. So that is one of the gory stories around this. A guy actually having a legitimate business, making a lot of money, and then something just compelled him to just move the goalpost. Another story. Have you ever heard of Rajat Gupta? Not our Guptas.
We know
Not our
this.
Guptas.
This
Might
is
not
the
be
wrong
the
show
same.
for this. Eh?
So Rajat Gupta came from the slums in India, made something of himself, went to the United States. When he was in his mid-40s, he was the CEO of McKinsey, right? On the board there, CEO, got out of the game. At that stage, he was round about $100 million worth, right? So that's quite a lot of money. That's enough to have a good lifestyle. Then he went and he was on the board of Goldman Sachs just before the global financial crisis. And now you guys can imagine on the board of Goldman Sachs, there's billionaires. And he felt a little bit, a little bit small between those guys. He wanted to sit on the billionaires table. So what happened? GFC. So Warren Buffett phones in and Goldman Sachs is in trouble. He's going to bail them out, $5 billion. What does he do? He phones his broker. I want some shares because he's got the inside info. One day, he only makes $1 million out of that trade. He's worth $100 million. The SEC finds out, 2 years in prison
For insider trading.
for insider trading. So what do you guys think compels people to actually just keep on doing stuff like this, keep on moving the goalpost? Because even if you don't think that large, all of us are sort of guilty of always trying a little bit harder.
What's next?
What's next? What's next? What's next? So when should enough be enough for us? And what anchors that for us? What do you guys think?
I think it's different for each person, but I think
Yeah,
if you go
it's
back
perspective.
psychologically, they say also if you were as a child, there was lack in your family. So that's the one side of it. There was lack in your family. You couldn't afford the things you wanted to, and especially if people around you could, your friends, they could all buy all this stuff, and you couldn't. Now you build wealth, and you kind of want to also show them enough. And your friends become richer friends. I mean, the friends that you started out with, you're way past them, but now you've got richer friends because you live in different circles, and we see that social hierarchy. You climb the social hierarchy, and you will never become the richest person. We see always the 10 richest people on earth. Even they don't know when is enough. They also want to challenge each other because I think it's an ego thing. It's
So just on
definitely-
the, John D. Rockefeller, what was the richest man in the world, 1% of global wealth was his. He said, what's enough? He said, just $1 more than what he had. So he was the richest man in here. He said, $1 more than currently.
Yeah, and like you say, we don't have to even talk about these mega wealthy people. We see it with some of our clients and people around us. They're wealthy. They're earning good money, but they're always in a rush. And maybe there's a fine line, because if you like working and it keeps you busy and you're healthy, it's great that you can apply your mind to it. It doesn't mean you're chasing the wealth. I think what's the reason for you working so hard? If it's really just to prove other people, or do you like what you're doing and you want to give your skill your craft for that business. So I think it's, why are you chasing all these things?
But isn't like Tom Brady winning 7 Super Bowls? When will you say, okay, no, I'm fine, I'm going to stop at 7 Super Bowls? Or the major tennis players, they want to win more and more. I think, isn't that normal?
I think crossing the line maybe
until your body gives up on you, then you can't.
And I think you made the point with those two stories. The moment you go across the line, you go Bernie Madoff or you go Gupta, all the Guptas. You go, you cross that line. I think that's definitely, and you see it a lot.
So, on a let's call it more like an emotional point of view, right? So, if we keep, let's say, your next target is you want to make 10 million rand per year, right? There's going to be some sort of cost to that. You're going to have less time with your family. Maybe your health is going to start declining. So there's always a cost involved with that.
Opportunity cost.
And I think that's something we must all remember. So even if, so the line isn't necessarily doing something illegal. The line may be, I'm not spending enough time with my wife and kids anymore. My health is declining. And I think that's sort of what I want you guys to think about, is to say, well, where is the line and when do we cross that line? When is enough for me? When
It's
you
personal.
It's personal.
So when you were at varsity, you went to varsity, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you got out of varsity, what was your income goal that you wanted? When you think, okay, if I made X, my life would be waxed. What was that?
40,000 rand a month.
Just
Just after university. Very high
Okay, you went
expectations.
higher.
Never happened.
I started with articles, so it's a lot lower.
Okay, so you started with like 500 bucks per month. But what was in your mind? What was the number that you thought, okay, if I made this, I would actually be okay?
Long term, like 50,000. Like I said,
Yeah.
long term. But
Yeah, because you think, okay, I can drive a decent car, have a decent house, medical aid, and I'll be fine. Yourself?
Yeah, I think it was 50 as well. But is enough a number? And I think that's when we see with our clients and we do the calculations for them, you've got enough money, sir, to move X. But that doesn't mean basically anything. So enough, is it a number? Because when we reach that number, we always want more. Even us, like you just mentioned with this example. Now you reach at 50, I want more. Because you realize there's more things you want to do.
But look at it also. Let's be realistic, A listed company, as an example, has shareholders. Those shareholders always want more. If you look at the annual, if you look at the books, they need growth. Every single year they need growth. They want growth. If there was not growth, what happens? There's a sell in the shares, and I think also as a person, sort of to a certain extent, and obviously I agree with everything we've talked about, but as a person, there's also a sort of point where you are the company and there are shareholders, and you're always looking for more. I'm always looking for more. Obviously, I'm still young as well, but I'm always looking for more. There is a point at the end of the day, but there's
But
sort of
when
a
is that
worth
point?
as well. No, absolutely.
But when is that?
Absolutely, but
Because
for now there's a worth to it. There's a reason why I'm doing it, and it sort of gives me, for now, purpose. But that's a stage where I'm in. There's different stages.
I think on that, so a company obviously needs to keep on growing to keep their investors happy, right? So the problem, I don't know if you guys have seen this, the problem is if you've got the same mentality, you're going to keep on moving that goalpost.
Yeah.
So your assets are going to become more, your debts are going to become more, your car is going to be a bigger, better car, your debt is going to become more. So are you actually really building anything? Are you actually building wealth? And that comes down to, okay, what is wealth for you? But it's very, very interesting because that's the hardest part for everyone to do, is to actually say, here's my goalpost, I'm sticking to that. Anything else, yes, I want to earn more, but I'm going to be happy with the life that I have because I don't want to give up time with my family or with my friends, play golf, stuff like that. Because as I said, there's always a cost involved.
Comment.
Yeah, but then you obviously be real and ask the question. PJ, can you tell me when is enough for you?
I think it is a bit of a moving goalpost, but for me, I keep track of net worth and where you're going, and to be conscious of assets must grow more than debts. So for me, it's minimalizing. So I think it's personal for everyone, but for me, I'm keeping track, and for me, freedom is also important. So it's not just about growing. So for me, enough is enough that I can do what I want to.
And I think once again, and I think we all kind of agree with this, it's personal. For each person, it will be different. Some of us family members are very important. For others, want to give a lot for charity. But in terms of where we work with, and we work with clients' finances, that is where it's important to get an outside person to give you clarity, give you perspective, and they can show you the numbers. Sir, we've reached our goal that we set for ourselves 5 years. You have enough money to be able to retire or to be able the life that you want to. Do not sacrifice on the other things. Give him the outside perspective and make sure that you keep him honest.
Absolutely.
Thanks.